Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today I have a customer's car, pretty neat one. This guy drives this car a lot as well, and I just figured I'd walk around the car a little bit and show you what I've done to it so far and what we plan on doing in the future to the car. It is a 66 Mustang convertible with the original 200 cubic inch inline six in it. It does have upgraded HEI distributor. And pretty basic. I think it may have a cam in it, I'm not really sure. It does have a long tube header on it, which is kind of hilarious because I think it turns it into like an X pipe for like a V8 car, which is kind of wild. But what I did to the car a few months back, again, the guy drives the car quite a bit, is I converted it to Sniper EFI with a single barrel Autolite 1100 replacement sniper. It's pretty cool. It works extremely well, surprisingly. It has a tanks incorporated, or I'm sorry, it has a Holley fuel tank in it with an in-tank pump using the factory style system, which is kind of cool because you don't have to chop the car up at all. I mean, it just bolts in as far as the tank goes, and it's really good. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the top of the fuel tank is also the floor of the trunk, so having a fuel pump protrude through in the middle of the floor, it can cause some issues or whatever. But anyway, let's look back at this car real quick. Really clean. He had it painted, I guess, a year or so ago, and it's got a beautiful top on it. And the problem is we live in Florida, and the guy drives the car a lot. When I say a lot, I'm talking 4 or 5 days a week he drives this car, and he just bums around on the beach with it. Takes Rolo, which Rolo is his dog. Rolo rides in the car probably more than any other person besides the driver. But the interior is really nice on it. Just a clean cruiser, right? You guys understand? Cruiser, got it? This is not a high performance car. This is a go to the beach, take your dog out, go get some ice cream with Mrs. But anyway, again, Florida, summertime. Brutal. So hopefully, really close to the camera. I'm really bad at this, guys. You gotta comment in the videos what helps me become a better filmer. I don't know. I'm just terrible at it anyway. So is we bought a vintage air kit for the car from our friends over in San Antonio, which I was in San Antonio back in June, and they suffer from the same heat problems we do, except it's a little drier. Anyway, so hopefully I'm going to do an unbox real quick and just make sure everything's there. I did open the box for the sand and compressor, which that's in here. I just want to make sure all the brackets are here for this style motor, and just, kind of go over everything, make sure we didn't miss any parts. So I'll be right back. Okay, it looks like everything is here. I don't know if you guys have ever installed one of these kits before on a Mustang. Bit of a tight fit. Car isn't that spacious, and there's not a lot of room to move around. However, they did do this, which is kind of cool. Vintage Air finally came up with an updated control panel. I don't know if you guys have done these before, but typically what you got to do is you have to convert the factory cable operated system to function with like limit switches. So now it's all digital. So that's really cool. It looks pretty good too. It's got the fan mode temp. Look at that, huh? Very similar to the original design. I like that a lot. That's going to save a ton of time and a ton of space, because when you have to do all those rods that come out of the back of the factory one, all the hoses are for the vents really have to snake around them, which that makes it a real pain in the butt. The only one bummer I see is the condenser. So they put this monstrosity of an AC compressor bracket in the same box that the condenser was in, and I haven't opened it yet, to be honest, but I did see this, and that ear right there chiseled a hole through the box and actually dented the end of the you guys can't see it, but it dented the end of the condenser. So hopefully it didn't rupture it. I'll have to pull it out of there and make sure that's not damaged, because that would stink. I'd have to send that back. I may actually have one that size here at the shop. It's like a 16 by 18 we'll see. I don't know. I had some stuff for these Fords, these older Fords laying around, so I'll see through my stash if I have one or not. But anyway, it's Tuesday. It's sweaty. It's like, I don't know, probably 99 degrees, 100 degrees or so right now with like 95% humidity, which is super fun. It's a good time to work in the heat. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get cracking on this car. I'll see if I can film some of it as I do. I'm just really bad at doing that. I just get involved, and next thing you know, I look up and 2 hours have gone by and I never turned the GoPro on, or I just forget. I don't know. I'm gonna try to be better at it. I'd like to share some of the stuff I do around the shop with you guys, and I think you know, what I do here isn't cutting edge, but it allows these people to use their cars. And like I said, the car owner is a super nice guy, probably one of the nicest customers I have. Just genuine laid back dude, busts his butt during the day, and just really enjoys cars, and has quite a few little hot rods, and even a nice daily driver truck. He just takes care of his stuff, like probably one of the better people I know, just maintaining his vehicles. So it's really cool that he drives this car as much as he does because of the EFI swap. The reason for that is the car used to vapor lock immediately with the little carburetor that was on it, and they did a few things to it back in the day and just couldn't get it to stop doing it. You drive it for like 10 minutes and all of a sudden the car just wouldn't start again for an hour or whatever. So it's frustrating, like majorly frustrating, which I get. So anyway, the EFI has really solved that, and he's able to use his car, and that's the key. So hopefully the car will be a little more comfortable now that I'll have AC on it. It does have some AC parts on the car as we speak, but I don't know what they are. They're old. It's probably some sort of aftermarket system that may be installed at the dealership back then or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Point is, it's getting brand new vintage air stuff, and yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Hey guys, welcome back. So got a little bit of progress done on this Mustang. Was able to get all the factory / aftermarket AC components off the car. Some of it fought me a little bit, but not surprising. It's an old car. It's got a little rust here and there, a little corrosion. But yeah, it's all the factory stuff. Got all that jerked off. That didn't sound right. I got all that stuff removed. And got the new condenser in, which came out pretty good. You got to drill this hole in a certain spot. The instructions are very vague where that comes through, so I just kind of did a little fit and finish before I popped the hole in it, and it was pretty close. So pretty happy with that. The bracket that holds the AC compressor and the alternator, it actually held the alternator in such a fashion that it was hitting the header. So, well, I wouldn't even be able to go on, to be honest. So what I did was, thankfully this car had an aftermarket AC system on it, at least the compressor wise. So I looked at the bracket on that, and it's the exact same bracket that the kit came with. The only difference is it's probably like an older version of it. The good thing is somebody modified it to accept an alternator. It just pushes the alternator away from the block a little bit, which was great. So I just cleaned that up and repainted it, and we'll just use that one. The kits use the Sandin style compressor, so shouldn't be any issues there. So yeah, anyway, as you can tell, there's a giant hole where the old blower motor used to be back there, and I removed the lines that came across the driver's side of the engine compartment. So moving inside the car here, so what we've done is, again, I got all this stuff removed. I got the radio out of it, I got the glove box out of it, I've got the ashtray out. I was able to pull the factory climate control switches or control panel out of it, and you know, some of this wiring is from an aftermarket stereo that's in the car, and maybe some of the AC stuff that was left over. So hopefully I can piece some of that stuff back together. We'll see. The radio stuff shouldn't be an issue at all. It's just the wiring that was on the for the radio. Hopefully, I'm at the radio. Jeez, I got radio in my mind. The wiring that was powering up the aftermarket AC system, hoping to use that same spot, maybe in the fuse block. This car has been modified quite a bit as far as the wiring goes. Usually, when I come across a car like this, my recommendations to the owner is just to go with an aftermarket upgraded wiring harness, tip to tail. Usually solves a lot of the issues that old wiring can create. Odd thing is, this car does run pretty good, and everything seems to function fine. So even though the wiring isn't in the best condition, it is functioning. So I'm gonna err on the side of caution and at least tell the customer slash friend what's going on. He may want to rewire the car, he may not. Maybe we'll cross that bridge once I get a lot of the AC components bolted in. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update where I am with the car and what's next. So yeah. What is next is I'm going to be able to mount I want to mount all the compressor, the alternator, all that stuff. Start making the AC lines for the front of the setup, and take care of some of the cornflake size rust chunks that came out of the cowl, which that's oddly enough not that uncommon with these older Mustangs. They had a pretty poor design cowl, and water would get down in there and sit, and leaves and what have you, and they rotted out pretty bad. All of them do it to some degree, and if someone tells you theirs is not that way, it's either been replaced or they're lying to you. It's from my experience. So anyway, let's go over here and look at some of the components that are left. Obviously the big blower motor AC system that goes inside the car, which has the evaporator in it. It also has the heater core in it, and the controls, and of course a blower motor that powers all the tubes, which is all this stuff here. We'll just snake that around in the car and get all that stuff to fit. There's the new standing compressor. Oh, I tell you what, let me grab the bracket, the old bracket versus the new bracket, and you can see what's been done to it. Granted, it's not the world's best fabrication job, but it's pretty robust, and I'm confident that it'll work for what we're trying to do. I try to lay them next to each other on the table here. Maybe it'll give a better visual. Maybe not, who knows. So, the one on the, I painted this one as well. These are Allen Glover brackets, I believe is what they call them. It's a company that makes brackets for stuff, pretty much any motor. But as you can tell, this is smooth here, and this has two ears welded on it. So the alternator would have been mounted here, and somebody welded these brackets on just to move it outward away from the header. So again, not a big deal. I'm okay with that. Again, it's identical bracket pretty much, so I'll just use that one. But anyway, I just figured I'd give you guys a spot where I am, and I'm gonna keep chugging along on this guy. All right, so I've got the whole evaporator under dash assembly pre-fabbed, I guess, or pre-installed, prepared, whatever you want to call it. And I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's completely, ready to go in the car. All right, so you have to mount, obviously, all these aluminum lines. 2 are for the heater, 2 are for the AC. So what you do is you put them on in a certain order. This mounting bracket here, you just want to make sure everything comes through the center of it, and then you go ahead and tighten down your fittings. You wrap some of that, I guess, butyl tape or whatever you want to call it. I found a cool solution to this stuff because this stuff is super sticky. I've been leaving the paper on it. I don't know if it really makes a difference or not, but it certainly makes a difference for me because it doesn't make a giant mess and everything gets sticky and whatnot. And then you jam this rubber gasket on, which the holes are super tight, so much in fact that it started to tear it. So I have a like a leather punch. It's like a leather punch set. I don't know, it's designed to put holes in. I mean, I use it for gaskets typically. I don't even have leather stuff. Anyway, I went ahead and opened those holes up just a little bit, just to allow it to go over the aluminum hoses hard lines a little better. So that went on really well. You take and put these little, this is for the, I guess, the floor heater. So all these little pieces here don't come on the units. You have to snap those in. You got to put these little plugs in certain spots. And this is for the vents for the car. So I guess 2 center, 2 outers. These are here are for like defrost. So you go ahead and snap down on really nice little snap clips. This Gen 5 stuff is really, they've come a long way. It's definitely more improved than the older systems I've installed. I mean, they're similar, but you can tell it's been thought out a little better. This originally is mounted here. When it comes from Vintage Air, you pop it loose, I'm sure because it won't fit in the car. And then there's a bracket that bolts to these holes. It goes up and grabs the cowl, and then this will be attached to the face of that bracket once you get it in the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can fire it in the car. I don't know if you guys have ever done this before by yourself. It's a real pain because the bolts that hold it to the firewall, you can't hold it up in there and start the bolts yourself. It usually takes 2 people. It's not a big deal if you have a second set of hands, but I never do. However, they've come up with a solution for that, and it's these 1/4-20 studs. So the top 2 holes have these studs on them. So I'm hoping once I fire it in the car, it'll hold it up long enough for me to run around to the engine bay and tighten it up to the firewall. We shall see if that works out. If it does, it's fantastic, and I'm glad they added that option to it. So all right, we're gonna see what's going on. Get in car.